Good afternoon, everyone. As she said, I'm Anitah Namwiru from Uganda, but in Kalangala specifically. Yes, my story is kind of related, but a bit different, and I want to share with you. I didn't grow up with my parents. I grew up with my grandmother, and by the age of, I don't know, I didn't know my age, but I was young, seriously young. My uncle was living with us, and this started like a game. I didn't know how to explain it. I didn't know how to take it, but it started like a game. It was one evening. My uncle came in. I'm this person who loves music. I like music. And my uncle had these speakers in his room, and he normally plays music. And I could get excited. I wanted to go in his room, music. And maybe he realized that I love music, so it could really attract me with sweeties, and then I go in his room. Before, it didn't happen, nothing happened, it was normal, my uncle, but one day, things changed. At first, I thought maybe this is part of the game, maybe it is a game. It didn't go far, but then 2 days, 3 days, things changed, it became tough. And like, the first time my uncle defiled me, it was totally hell to me. I went through hell. These are pictures, like, even up to now, they're still in my mind. And he really threatened me, if you tell anyone, I'm going to kill you. So I had to live with that. I couldn't say anything. My grandmother was around, but I couldn't tell her. It didn't happen once, it kept on happening. So time reached and I was like, no, I'm fed up, I'm tired of this. I was not going to school at that moment, but I could see other kids going to school. So I was curious, why is it that for us we are here? I had my young sister at home. So I was like, why is it that for us we are not going to school and others are going? So every time they could come, they could tell us, sweet stories at school, and I'm like, oh, I want to go. So I decided one day to wake up. I told my sister, dress up, we are going to school. We went to school, but we are not allowed to enter in the school because we are not registered. I went home, I told my grandmother, you know what, I want to find my parents, I want to see my parents. They told me, my mom is somewhere, she abandoned us. And then our dad went in the army. So I was like, oh my God, why is it that for us we are not getting this opportunity? I didn't stop. I wanted to go to school. And I was tired of the situation at home. So there was this old man around. He was a teacher, I think, because when we approached him, actually my first schooling was like, I didn't have books, but I could use the ground, draw my name, and then use stones like to write my name. Like, that was the first kind of schooling I got. So, I think I was around 11. One day, my dad popped, I don't know from nowhere, he popped up. And then he came. He told me, I'm going to take you to school. I was excited. But remember, I had something in my heart. I wanted to tell it to someone, but I couldn't. So, it took me to a friend. I thought he was going to take me to school, but it took me to a friend. She was a lady and she was a teacher. At that moment, I was happy. I was going to study. First day, I went to school. But this lady had a husband at home. Little did I know that I was actually not going to study, but I was going to do housekeeping. 2 days I went to school, but then the rest of the days, the lady confronted me and told me, you know what, you are brought here As a house girl, I was shocked. At that age, I had to face responsibilities. The lady told me, you're going to do this and this and this every day. I said, okay. What about schooling? She told me, if you wake up very early and you do everything, you will go to school. I said, okay. So I could wake up very, very early. Actually, around 3, I do everything so that I can go to school. But then, few months, the same thing which happened to me. Again, the husband did the same thing. I said, no. Now, if at some moment I thought maybe me, I was born like that, maybe everyone is going to be just defiling me. So I got this idea of running away. Said, I'm not going to stay here. I'm not going to allow any other person. I'm going to run away. So I ran away. I packed my things, I ran. I went back to the village. Now, while I was in the village, there's an aunt. My aunt came. She told my grandmother, I want to take her away. Let her go in the town. She's going to study from there. I left my sister because she had picked me. So I left my sister, I went. When I went, at first still, again I got school. I went to school. And then my aunt gave me to another, there's this, again, a daughter. My auntie's daughter. I went to my auntie's daughter. Still, I started educating myself. I had to work as a house girl. So like the money they could pay me, they were actually paying to the school. So I was educating myself. I educated myself like for the rest of primary. My dad was not around, my parents. I felt bad because I wasn't like other kids. And on top of that, I was defied in each family I was going to. It was really hard situation for me. Then in my primary 7, second term, I got fed up. I was like, no, this has to stop. If I have parents outside there, I have to find them. So they told me, my dad is now at a certain island. He went there, still in army. I said, okay, if my dad is around, I want to see him. I want to ask him. So I took a boat. By then I was 13. I took a boat. I went. It was a surprise to him. To my surprise, he had even got another family, another wife, other siblings. For them, they were studying. Me, I wasn't. So my dad was really surprised. He told me, how did you get here? I told him, don't ask me how, but I'm here now. So he told me, you have to go back. I told him, I'm going back to who? I'm going back to who? He told me, you have to study. I told him, all along we have not been around. He didn't know the hell I was going through. He didn't know. So I told him, I'm not going anywhere. I'm your daughter and I'm staying here. He told me, okay, I'm going to take you to a certain school, maybe like a coaching. They are going to coach you because this time is in the middle. And then you'll be thinking of a school on the mainland, you're going back. I told him I'm not going anywhere. He took me to that certain school. He put me in boarding section. I was lucky, I was bright. So the headmaster of that school registered me actually. He didn't want also to lose me. He registered me earlier. So by the time my dad came, I want to take her out. I was already registered. He told him, no, she's not going anywhere. She cannot get registered anywhere. So I got stuck on the island. But at the same time, I was happy because I was in school. I studied. While I was in that school, I met this woman, a guy from Germany, but now a resident in Belgium. he was actually extending this straight talk, counseling, all that. I was new at school, but other students knew him. I was good at music. They told us to entertain him. By that moment, I'm telling you, I was stressed. I didn't want to do anything. I told him, no, I'm not going to lead. Other people can lead. They told me, like, my headmaster really begged me, please. I led the music group. And then after my performance, I ran. I went back in the dormitory. But while I was performing, I touched this man's heart. Then for me, I didn't know anything, but after, this man was asking my headmaster, who is this girl? Where does she live? They told him, and he was like, no, I can't leave this girl to stay on this island. She's going to get spoiled, blah, blah, all that. But they didn't tell me. So after a while, when I sat my primary living examination, I went back to my dad. Was this teacher? It was a close friend. My dad trusted him. It was this closest teacher, a closest friend to my family, my dad. So my dad could give him money, like, if you don't have money, you go to that teacher, all that. When one day, this teacher, it started like, okay, you come and get sugar. If you don't have sugar, your dad sent me money, you come for it. And you could specifically say, Anitah, you should come and get the money. I didn't know that it can again happen still. It happened still. And when I got this man, I said, no, I've been quiet for a long time. For this one, I'm going to report him. I told this man actually about my entire story. He was like, okay, who's this teacher? That is the first time in my life I got justice, because it really fought hard to make sure that this man go in prison for the first time. I felt really, it was something I felt like, oh God, finally, I got some justice. But I still had this burden, big. I couldn't tell my father, my family, no one that my uncle did this to me. I couldn't still. Up to now, I won't say I opened up to them. They don't know. But while I was there, I met Madame Wasia, Robina, and actually I just heard their story, the power of experience sharing. After I heard their story, I was like, oh, I think I could also come out and speak. If they have managed, then why not me? I decided to talk to her and Madame Wasia. I first opened up to them. Then they were like, okay, are you willing? Because it's not easy to come out and break the silence. Because the district knew what was going on. I'm telling you, it's not only me. Thousands of girls are facing the same. In Kalangala, defilement. No, there are even those beliefs, if you sleep with an innocent girl, you're going to catch more fish. So, seriously, the district knew, but maybe they needed someone to come out, and that's what we actually did. Before we were talking about it, they didn't respond. So we decided to use our own story. And then when they heard our stories, they were like, oh, is this happening in Kalangala? Is this happening seriously? This is really not, we didn't know. Now we have to act. But it was after sharing experience. And I realized when I shared my experience, I normally use radio station, we get talk shows, and you find that other kids, you get responses from other kids. They are facing the same challenge you're going through, even worse than mine. So I decided, now I'm here, I'm standing here, and I really hope that even more girls would come out and stand here like me. Me, I got the opportunity. I went because this man educated me, and I know others are still there. They are not getting the same chance I'm getting. So like, if you, me, everyone, if we stand together, we can end sexual abuse, defilement, rape in Kalangala Sisi.
Thank you very much. We are running